Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching us BQ on BloombergQuint Live. I'm Navneet Saluja D'Souza.
Hi, Navneet. I'm Alex Matthew. Well, we've both got the cold and we're trying to beat it. But, well, this is not about how to avoid the cold. This is about how to get your equity questions answered. And you can send all of them to us on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. You can also call us on 022-454-04141. Or you can mail us and askbq@bloombergquint.com. How's the market looking? Meanwhile, I'll ask for garam chai.
I love that. But okay, the markets are doing pretty well today, Alex. It's a gap up opening. Remember, in the second half of the session yesterday, we did see a major recovery coming in for the markets. And remember, today's gains have come in across the board. We've sustained the gains. In fact, Nifty is trading above its 20-day moving average. The next level that the markets will be watching out will be the 50 DMA at about 12,135. You've got the banking index too, which is doing quite well. So the Nifty Bank is up about 0.6%, but it's underperforming, I guess. It did have a gap up opening. It's still off the day's high. Remember, today's gains have come in across the board. So you've got the broader markets too, which are up and about. And we've seen some outperformance because the Nifty mid-cap index is up about 1.2%, and the small cap index also registering strong gains. In fact, the market breadth too is pretty strong today. So good going for broader markets. As you can see on your screen, the ratio seems to be 2:1. Volatility is cooled off, so that's another positive sign for the bulls. And in terms of Nifty contributors, which are the stocks which are contributing to those gains today, you've got the likes of Reliance Industries, a heavyweight, which is contributing nearly 30 points. Remember, the deal, as per Bloomberg reports, the due diligence is ongoing with regard to Saudi Aramco deal. HDFC, HUL, and Kotak Mahindra Bank are a couple of other gainers. On the losing side, you've got counters like Tata Motors, Maruti, Sun Pharma, which are down in trade. Very quickly from the broader markets, I want to highlight few gainers. Aurobindo Pharma, which has received EIR with voluntary action initiated. That's the status for Unit 4, and on back of which you've seen gains of 18%. So after a while, you're seeing Aurobindo Pharma gaining 18%. It's been a laggard in the pharma space, and remember, it is one of the cheapest pharma stocks as well in terms of PE ratio. Torrent Pharma, IRCTC, Nippon Life are a couple of your other counters which are registering strong gains today. In fact, Nippon Life is at life highs, if I'm not wrong. And you've got on the losing side Bandhan Bank, which is down. That's once touched about 52-week low in today's trade. And Madison Sumi is not having a great session. That's also down about 2%. So net, I think we're back to levels of about 12,100. The resistance once again will be at 12,250.
In fact, let's actually go to one of our experts. Let me get the two experts in for the day. We've got Sameet Chavan of Angel Broking and Parthiv Shah of TRACOM Stockbrokers here to answer all of your questions. Welcome to the show, gentlemen. I just want to take you through very quickly what Sameet has sent in for you in terms of the picks that he has. The first one is a buy call on Maruti Suzuki with a stop loss of 6,630 and a target of 6,950. And he's also got another buy call on Amara Raja batteries with a stop loss of 754 and a target of 843. So it's a buy call on Maruti, remember, with a target of 6,950. All right, I want to go across to Sameet. Sameet, well, Navneet was just talking about the resistance, and why don't you tell us about the levels that you're watching out for the benchmarks going towards the end of the week?
Good afternoon, Alex. See, yesterday's recovery in last 1 hour was quite crucial for our market. It has come from important juncture. Technically speaking, we retraced nearly 50% of its recent up move that started from the 11,600 towards 12,200. Secondly, due to sharp recovery on daily chart, we could see formation of bullish hammer pattern in Nifty, Bank Nifty, and mid cap index. Bank Nifty recovered from 200-day moving average. So all in all, the overall setup was quite good, and today we have seen a massive pop-up at the opening itself. Yes, market cooled off a bit, but despite we were trading below 12,100 an hour back. 12,100 put writers were quite active, and we are seeing good open interest addition in 12,100 put. So 12,100 to 12,050 would now be seen as important support. And probably in next 1 hour, if we see Nifty surpassing 12,120, we would see another bout of short covering, and Nifty can head towards 12,150 or 12,200 in next couple of days.
Okay, so those are Nifty levels to monitor at least for today's trading session. Let's get going and start addressing some viewer queries. And I'm going to start off with some email queries. Monica Tuju writes to us, and she's holding 1,000 shares of L&T, which she bought at levels of 1250 in 2015. So she's been holding pardon me, for a really long time. What she wants to understand is, should she exit or switch to a private sector bank or something like maybe Atul Limited or Aarti Industries. Remember, the chemical companies have been in focus. Parthiv, let me come to you. L&T, a stock in terms of maybe valuations can look attractive. It's been trading below its historical averages, but would you advise someone to hold on, especially if someone who's been holding for last 5 years, or would you advise her to switch to private sector bank or maybe to some chemical companies?
Firstly, wishing you, Navneet and Alex, a very speedy recovery with your colds. Yeah, it's the same scenario here in Ahmedabad. A lot of cases in terms of virals and colds. So, wishing everyone a speedy recovery. Talking about L&T, so what's been happening with L&T is the very slow execution in some of its big projects. And it was what we'd heard even from the commentary of Mr. A.M. Naik, that things are moving very slow in terms of payment disbursements from likes of NHAI and a lot of government projects and also a lot of state projects. And 44% of L&T's revenue also comes from a lot of state projects where I think the payments have been very slow. So the working capital is slightly stretched. So that's the key reason why we are seeing the stock being a relative underperformer, despite the fact that the pedigree of the group is fantastic and also the order book has been very strong, and they have been putting a lot of capital in the services segment of the business, which is relatively better in terms of margins and cash flow. So my suggestion is maybe this is not the best time to exit this company. Wait for a couple of years. We are very confident that as and when things improve in terms of the liquidity situation, this is the company that one eyes for any sort of infrastructure uptick in terms of the government spending or also in terms of the liquidity improving from NHAI's case. So we expect this company to be at levels of somewhere around 1600 within next 2 years time frame. I think near about that zone, it would be a better exit.
All right, Akshay Mittal's got a question on Maruti. It so happens, Akshay, that Sameet's pick was on Maruti. Of course, you've been holding for much longer than what Sameet is talking about. You bought at levels of 8,700, but you've asked for immediate targets and a stop loss, which he has provided already. I want to come back to you, Parthiv, on a question from Baljinder, and he's asking about the Indian pharma sector and what your picks are within that. And we've also got Bikash, who's asking about Pfizer, which he's holding on to, and he's bought in at levels of 4,100. So a specific comment on Pfizer, and within the pack, which one would you pick?
In the pharmaceutical space, we've been very bullish on a lot of these MNC pharma names like AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and also we are liking Sanofi India. So I think Pfizer, if he's holding, certainly I think makes a point. Hold on for it for the next 2 to 3 years. What we like about these managements is that they are launching new products in the country and they are very upbeat in terms of the Indian pharmaceutical market prospects. So Pfizer is a good name. Another bet that we like is Sanofi India. I think they are very well placed in terms of key lifestyle-based therapies, wherein I think drugs like Lantus, which is very big in the diabetes space, and also they are doing very well in the pain relief segment through Combiflam, along with likes of Allegra, which is into anti-allergy. So I think all these products are extremely well positioned to grow at the rate of 18 to 20% over the next 3 to 5 years. It is one of the MNC companies which tends to earn the highest EBITDA margins because a lot of its production takes place in-house. So Sanofi, we believe, I think can be a very good play out here, and wait on it for the next 2 to 3 years. We believe good levels can be seen on the upside.
All right, so Parthiv prefers the MNC Pharma pack. Remember, Pharma as a pack is up and about today. Nifty Pharma Index is also your top sectoral gainer, and maybe the gains that we've seen for Aurobindo Pharma up about 18% is contributing to those gains. All right, let me take a technical query. Ujjwal Kumar writes to us on YouTube, and he's been holding Karnataka Bank at levels of 112. The stock obviously is trading somewhere about 72, 73 right now. He wants to know if we should look to average at current levels or there is some more downside which can be seen in the counter. Sameet, what would you advise him to do? The stock's actually at 76. His entry level is 112. To average or wait it out?
See, Navneet, since last many months, this stock has done nothing. This has been, clearly one of the laggards over the past 1.5 years. But it appears that since September, the fall that we have seen previously from the levels of 140, the fall has been arrested. And stock is now, going through consolidation phase since last 5 to 6 months. So whether this stock will give a breakout on the higher side would or not, that would be very difficult to take a call right now. So in case if you wants to average it, wait for a breakout, a convincing breakout beyond 81, 82 that has been acting as a strong resistance. So if this stock gives a breakout beyond this important hurdle, then we can see some kind of strength coming in, and in that case stock can again head towards 94, 96.
Okay, we've got a question from Mayank Saraf on Clariant Chemicals, and he points out that it recently has corrected about 20 to 25%. Indeed, its 52-week high was not too long back. In fact, on the 5th of February itself, where it hit 478. It's currently trading at 368 or thereabouts. Parthiv, the question is for you on the fundamentals. Would you pick this counter? And I'm just going to preempt any other questions in the specialty chemical space. It seems to be something that a lot of our viewers are interested in. Would this be your pick, or would you pick something else?
Not really, Alex. Despite being a global big MNC name working here in India, they have not been very aggressive in the pigment space. A company which has been very aggressive and has taken a lot of market share is a company called Sudarshan Chemicals. We know, I think they have moved a lot into specialty pigment, azo pigments, which are, I think, definitely garnering a lot of market share, not only domestically, but even in an export terms, what we have seen in terms of the data, they have been garnering a lot of market share. And big companies like Clariant world over, they are reducing their production in the pigment segment because of the environmental norms, and that is where I think a lot of advantage goes to companies like Sudarshan Chemical, who have built up a decent global level scale and also working on a lot of R&D based pigment products. So I think Sudarshan Chemical for a longer horizon makes better sense than Clariant.
Okay, so Sudarshan is looking better than Clariant. Let me take a technical query on Axis Bank. Then Anand Sivaguru writes to us and he wants a short-term view here. Sameet, the stock's just about trading above its simple 50-day moving average. What levels do you monitor here on the charts?
See, Navneet, since November, this stock has been clearly struggling to surpass 760, 762. Approximately 8 to 10 occasions, the stock attempted to head higher beyond 760, but all those attempts are clearly failing, and this stock is again giving a decent decline. So overall, if you see, the stock has has been undergoing some kind of consolidation phase. Low side, it is clearly reluctant to go below 700. Some kind of buying tends to emerge, and at higher level 760, 765, these are the levels to watch out for. In case of fresh entry, one has to wait for a breakout to happen beyond 765.
Parthiv, I know you've answered this question, and I know that you've said that you like Dr. Lal Path Labs, but we've got Kapil Mehta who's asking us which of the whole pack, so Dr. Lal Path Labs, Thyrocare, Metropolis, which of these would you pick?
See, out of these three diagnostics play, I think we are more biased towards Dr. Lal Path, and purely because of the fact that this is one company which is also doing a lot of innovative work in terms of moving towards very innovative testing, and I think that always brings a lot of visibility in terms of, whenever there is a lot of competition in the normal service testing, I think the high grade tests and the value added tests that we call as, I think they bring in better margins and return ratios. So I think they will create a separate niche for themselves, and I think the segments and the geographies that they are catering into are still, I believe, lot underpenetrated as compared to likes of Thyrocare and Metropolis, and that's where we feel that Dr. Lal Path can really scale up their margins and volume growth.
Okay, that's the diagnostic space which has been outperforming in the last 1 year or so. Okay, Pranay wants to know between HDFC, SBI and ICICI Bank, which is a better long-term bet. Parthiv, I come to you. Which one would you choose?
I think all depends upon the time frame, but yes, if it's a 3 to 5 year time frame, in terms of pecking order, my highest preference would be HDFC Bank. I think it's something which even from here can deliver returns of 15-16% compounded over longer horizon, the way it is placed. In terms of SBI, yes, it's a high risk, high return bet, but again, I think always risk arises in terms of any new corporate account slipping, which is not the case with HDFC Bank. The book is lot cleaner. So I would go with HDFC Bank even over ICICI Bank, which we liked at levels of below 300, but now with the run up and with the valuation, I think I would prefer HDFC Bank.
Okay, we've got a question on Credit Access Grameen, and this one is coming in on YouTube from Praveen Matthews, looking for a technical view. The stock is very active in trade today, 7.5% gains. He's looking at entering for the next 3 months, Sameet. On the charts, would that make sense?
See, Alex, historically, we do not have sufficient data to analyze its historical trends. But with current price action, it appears that the stock has picked up strong momentum after forming a strong base around 750. If we look at the overall volume activity, it has risen substantially, and in last couple of days, stock has surged. So from here on, 1020, these are the immediate levels to watch out for. So any minor dip would be a good buying opportunity, and on the lower side now, previous resistance of 870, 880 would act as a very strong support.
Okay, and this one's had a really good run in the last 4 or 5 months. Credit Access Grameen, a microfinance player. Okay, let me address a query which are coming on WhatsApp right now. And Ghana writes to us, he's been holding shares of Titan at 1152. He wants to know at what level should he look to book profits right now. Technically, the stock, of course, is trading above all its key moving averages at 1327 is the level where it's trading. The major recovery has come in after the December quarter numbers. Sameet, I come back to you. Entry level is 1152. Would you advise booking profits at current market price?
No, I think one should stay put. The kind of price activity that we have seen over the past couple of weeks, it's quite encouraging. Ever since we saw that breakout happening from the levels of 1200, 1220 on 4th Feb, this stock has been gradually moving higher, and coincidentally we have a positive call on this particular counter. We have recommended this to our traders through call option, 1320 call option we have suggested to go long, and it is still active. So from here on, 1350, 1370, these are the levels to watch out for as far as Titan is concerned.
Okay, we've got another query on WhatsApp, and this one's on SpiceJet, and we got Ramit, who's holding on to the stock, and he's bought at elevated levels of 132. In fact, he's bought 10,000 shares, and though the stock is up about 4%, it's significantly off his buy price. Parthiv, he's asking on the fundamentals, should he sell at this point, or should he in fact accumulate more? And that's a pertinent question, because Boeing, the Boeing 787 MAX aircraft issue seems to be hurting them, and I guess capacity is something that they need to be concerned about.
Yes, I think in case of SpiceJet, what has happened is that even Interglobe Aviation, we've seen that they cut their guidance in terms of their capacity because of issues with the Airbus Neo jets delivery. And now in case of SpiceJet, also what we are going to experience is that they might not be in a position to scale up their capacity as per expected levels. And again, I think in terms of the passenger traffic, I think that has also been relatively tepid. So I think so far India has been really immune in terms of not having any detrimental impact on the airline industry with the coronavirus. That is one risk that one can expect in this particular industry. God forbid, if at all the cases were to emerge from our country, then I think that will have definitely a very dampening impact on the airline industry, which is the case in point with a lot of Southeast Asian countries and also in China. So that is one risk that investors should be aware of. But yes, one positive aspect of this industry is that the dynamics for fuel, which is crude, is really going down. After the coronavirus outbreak, the demand for fuel has gone down, which has led to a 15% decline in the oil prices, and we are expecting even the aviation turbine fuel also to come down. So that should help them in terms of their margins. But yes, we are expecting the yields in future to go up, which is not going to happen immediately. So these stocks could correct from here, and on corrections of 10 to 15%, I think it will make better sense to enter these names.
Okay, that's the aviation space. Let me take a query from Facebook. Bidhu Bhushan writes to us, and he wants to know if we can look to enter LIC housing finance at current levels. Remember, the stock was quite weak in the last 2 sessions, and today it snapped the 3-day fall. Some marginal gains, maybe some bit of short covering is something that you're seeing on this counter. But Sameet, in terms of levels, the sort of correction that it's seen, do you think the correction is over and these are good levels for someone to enter?
To take that call, recently we've seen sharp correction from the levels of 430, 440, and in this process stock managed to slide below its important support level of 380, 385. So as long as it remains below that important level, the stock is likely to consolidate. So any kind of first sign of revival has to happen. Any short covering has to trigger. Stock need to surpass that 380, 385 kind of zone. So if that happens, then yes, we could see the stock heading towards 420, 425. So in case of fresh entry, one should wait for this particular stock to stay beyond 385.
Okay, Parthiv, do you like Godrej consumer products for the long term, and would you enter the current level? So we got Premi, who also wants to know whether you would choose this over like an HDFC Bank or a Kotak Mahindra Bank? I know it's a bit of an odd question because the sectors are completely different.
Yes, I think in terms of sustainability and in terms of a great franchisee, HDFC Bank and Kotak Bank have been my all-time favorites. And again, they will keep on delivering this 15-16% sort of shareholder return because the ROEs are growing at almost nice double-digit in teens, and also the balance sheet will expand or rather double, I would say, in every 4 to 5 years. So there is a lot of visibility in these two names. In case of Godrej Consumer Products, yes, I think it had been a little dampener in terms of its volume growth, and also its operations into Indonesia and Africa were not really scaling up well. And that's the key reason why the stock had kind of derated. But I believe that the management has taken a lot of remedial steps. And from here, if the volume growth were to improve, I think certainly the stock can get re-rated. But again, it's, I think, not one of the favorite companies in the FMCG space. We prefer some other names. But again, because the comparison is between the private sector banks and this name, I would go with either a Kotak or an HDFC Bank.
Okay. It's time to hit the rapid fire segment then. Before we begin, just a small request to both our experts, Parthiv and Sameet. Please keep your answers short so that we can accommodate as many queries as possible. Sameet, this one's for you. Abhijit's holding Radico at levels of 345. He wants to know what levels to watch here. He's pretty much in the money.
Excellent entry point. Trail your stop loss to 400.
Parthiv, Alan's got a question. With the overhang of the Tellurian deal, would you still enter Petronet at these levels?
Yes, I like the story in Petronet LNG. For long term, it's good.
Parthiv, fundamentally, would you advise buying into Indian Energy Exchange for long term?
Yes, I think we like the business model and its monopoly in the power exchange.
Parthiv, do you like PSP projects for a one-year horizon?
I would suggest keep a 2-year horizon on PSP projects, and yes, we are bullish on it.
Sameet, holding IGL at 254, would you advise to add more at current levels?
Not at current level, probably around 440, 430, one can reassess the situation.
Sameet, on Apollo Tyres, what's your entry price? Would you buy at the current level?
No, I'll certainly avoid.
Sameet, a 2-week view on SPI on charts.
See, time-wise projection is difficult for this particular counter because it is in a consolidation mode. Wait for a breakout to happen beyond 330.
Okay, we've got Glenmark. So you've already commented on the, okay, we already commented on the pharma space. So Bank of Baroda, Parthiv, would you buy Bank of Baroda?
Not really, actually. If you avoid this counter, I would prefer the names that we have discussed, Kotak and HDFC.
Parthiv, would you advise holding on to Polycab if somebody is holding at levels of 1034?
Yes, I still like it for a view of next 2 years.
Underperformers, Tata Steel and RBL, Parthiv, in the recent past, would you buy them?
Tata Steel, not really at this juncture. RBL Bank, I believe there's decent value here. You can take some risk. It's a high risk, high return bet as compared to the other private sector names.
Sameet, an illiquid counter, Abbott India, holding 40 shares at levels of 12,000. Would you advise to add more at current levels?
See, averaging is not advisable, but hold on to your existing quantity.
Very quickly, Voltas to buy at the current level for 3 to 6 months, Sameet?
Certainly, yes, and any dip towards 700 would be a good buying opportunity.
All right, that's all the time that we have on this edition of Ask PQ. I'd like to thank both our experts. Thank you so much, Parthiv and Sameet, for helping our viewers out with their queries.
Remember, we're just a tweet, post, or a call away, so please keep your queries coming, and we promise to address most of them through our shows. In fact, for all our previous episodes, you can visit our YouTube channel or our website, BloombergQuint.com. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.